Hello guys, let me take this opportunity to welcome you all to this webinar on the wonderful topic that is organized by our Octanetworks. Me, Nilesh Kajai and Sanchit Puri, my colleague, will be taking this webinar. To start with, I hope all of us are taking good care of ourselves in this difficult situation of COVID-19 pandemic. And we are sorry for keeping you waiting for 5 minutes because many people are joined in this 5 minutes and we'll start now. We are glad to know that a lot of people have joined from locations across the globe. Let us first go through some housekeeping items so that all the participants get benefited. We have a question and answer session planned at the end of the webinar. So please go ahead and ask or submit your questions with us so that chat box is open so that we can cover as many questions as possible within a stipulated time period that we have. All the participants are muted, and we'll come to the question and answer session, which is last part of this webinar. So let us have a brief look at the agenda that we're going to cover today. So the agenda is Cisco certification program and how it has got revamped in last 6 months, 8 months, and how it is going to help us in building our networking careers. A basic objective of this webinar is to share the details about CCIE Enterprise Infrastructure as a career development or career booster tool. We will also understand how Octanetworks can work with you in achieving your CCIE dreams. Now first, we'll understand what is CCIE Enterprise Infrastructure. Then we'll have a look at the reasons behind Cisco introducing the changes to their certification program. Most important part of this webinar is to understand how these changes are going to enhance our careers. So basic objective is to understand how it is going to help us. Then we'll go through the actual changes in the CCIE exam format and the blueprint. Once we are through with these pointers, we'll try and understand how Octanetworks team can help you prepare and achieve your CCIE certification goals.
Cisco CCIE being the highest validation of skill sets in the networking industry, it is a de facto industry gold standard for knowledge, experience, and competence related to networking solutions and technologies. It consists of various technology tracks, the CCIE certification program. It consists of various technology tracks like security, data center, service provider, and collaboration. Now, candidates can choose specific track and go for the CCIE certification in the specific track based on their interest or their career growth prospects. It is extension of previous CCIE routing and switching. Considering the constantly evolving networking technologies, market demands, and business needs, Cisco has revamped their CCIE routing and switching to accommodate new technologies and discard some of the old concepts that are no longer used in the industry. These are the reasons of Cisco's CCIE revamp. So CCIE Enterprise Infrastructure is not limited to the routing switching only. It also covers the core technologies like network assurance, software-defined infrastructure, information security and services, along with infrastructure automation and programmability. Now, these are the new realities of the enterprise networks. The objective of the CCIE revamp is to cover most current demands and needs of the industry by taking future technology trends in consideration. It means CCIE EI is going to make us job ready for today. It is going to prepare us for the skill sets needed tomorrow, and we'll be ready to build on our skill sets for the future based on the concepts covered in the CCIE Enterprise Infrastructure. That is exactly why Cisco says be job ready today, tomorrow, and beyond. Now, a very common question that comes to our mind is why Cisco certification must have got revamped. It has been very successful for more than 25 years now. Then why do you think Cisco must have revamped this very well established program? Now we need to understand the thought process and foundation blocks of the Cisco certification program to understand this revamp. The certification program is based on 5 building blocks. These 5 basic tenets are integrity, vigor, agility, value, and leadership. In order to maintain focus on these fundamental blocks in the constantly evolving technological and business needs of the industry, Cisco has revamped its certification program entirely. And that is exactly why we are discussing about the new syllabus and the new framework of the lab examinations. Now let us have a brief look at these foundation blocks. Integrity basically is making sure that the content of the certification does not get compromised in any way. Rigor is making sure that the technology concepts and the syllabus covered in the CCI examination matches or prepares you with the complexity levels and the requirements of the customer. Agility is the ability to change ourselves according to the needs of the market and the client. It is the way in which we learn new things, discard outdated concepts, and be ready for the ever-changing business needs of the clients. Fourth point is value, which is very, very important. It is the value that Cisco generates in terms of technology solutions, the value the customers derive from utilizing these technological solutions, and the value that we, the certified professionals, generate by understanding the technology on the one hand and implementing it for the client to meet his business needs on the other. So we are basically the building bridges between the client and the Cisco. When I say leadership, it is about being ahead of others in terms of understanding of the technology trends and its successful practical application at the client's premises. It is about being ahead of our competition in terms of the technology adoption and skill sets. These are basically the secret recipe or magic formula of CCIE and Cisco as a company, because of which they are the market leaders. Now, the important point is Cisco has revamped CCI certification program. Fantastic. Now, how it is going to enhance our careers is a bigger question. How it is going to help us get better jobs, better growth prospects. Now, as we are aware, enormous changes are happening around us as we speak. COVID-19 situation has disturbed almost every business, social and political aspect of life across the globe. Irrespective of the turmoil and the disturbance, the requirement of the robust and always available networking infrastructure is always there. You can take example of my disconnection itself. I have to be, since I'm presenting a webinar, it is necessary for me to make sure that I have redundancy built in so that I can be present if one system fails and be able to present the webinar to you. Now, likewise, people are dependent on the communication channels to deal with their businesses and decision making. We are going to cover new realities and future demands of the marketplace in terms of technologies and solutions. And this is exactly why Cisco has revamped the CCIE certification program to meet these newer realities and future demands of the marketplace. The certification program is revamped in order to include these new technologies, as I said. SDN, automation, programmability are some of these new realities, and these are covered in the CCI program. By understanding the future trends of the market, CCI program is updated, and we have already seen how it has affected the framework of the blueprint of the CCI certification examination. Now, bottom line is, with the CCIE Enterprise Infrastructure, Cisco is expecting candidates to cover the entire life cycle of the technology solution. The whole 9 years of design, deploy, operate, and optimize phases of the networking solutions are covered in this revamped CCI program. And Cisco expects us, that is the future CCIs, to be able to cover all these 4 phases of networking solutions and the life cycle. In the previous version, design part of the life cycle was not very prominent, but this time it is part of the framework. Crux of the matter now here is CCI is here to stay. CCI is here to make sure that we are going to get jobs. CCI is here to make sure that we'll be at the forefront of the networking careers.
I would like to welcome you all again, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you for finding the time and joining this webinar on CCI Enterprise Infrastructure. So basically, we'll be discussing what changes they have actually made in the webinar and everything. So see, let's start from this. Let's start from the exam overview. Now, in this exam overview, the exam overview is still the same. Okay, you will be having still an 8-hour practical exam. Okay, and but the concept of it has changed. Okay, earlier it used to be 3 sections. Okay, like your troubleshooting, diagnostic, and your configuration, which is available on the Cisco website as well. But now they have redesigned it like this. Like now they have 3-hour design section, which is web based. Okay, now by this web based, they will be simply giving you some questions. Okay, basically in this design module, this will be all scenario based. You will be given topology, you will be given the background info of the company, email set to help you answer the scenario. So all these 3 hours you will be doing the designing part. Now coming to the 5-hour deploy, operate and optimize section, this will be your hands-on and web based. Okay, this will be your both the parts. Like for example, you will be doing the scenarios also, and you will be doing the hands-on also, like the commands which we used to do and which we are still doing it. Okay, now it's also focused on the technologies widely used in the enterprise environment and their life cycle. Now see, in routing and switching, there were many topics which were missing in the blueprint. Sorry, for example, for example, MPLS VPN. Okay, now that is the topic which is widely used in your enterprise networks, but that was not available in the route in your routing and switching. It was available, but it was simply your MPLS. It was not layer 3 VPN. So now they have designed more like your industry perspective. So that's why they have named it enterprise infrastructure. Now talking about the technology, they have strongly rooted from its predecessor, which was CCI routing and switching. Okay, many of the topics have been borrowed from the CCI RNS to your enterprise infrastructure. And moving forward to what actually changes are, see now basically like I said, now in the design module there are 3 hours fixed. Okay, you cannot, like, earlier it was like if you have finished your section in 2 hours, you can just skip the time and you can borrow the time in your config. Okay, but that's not the case in the design now. Okay, that's not the case in the design now. So in the design you have to wait for 3 hours, and it's scenario based. Now backward navigation within the module is disabled. So now if I don't know how many questions will be there till the Cisco announce something, but let's say if there are 20 questions or 50 questions or scenario based questions, so now if you press the next, you won't be able to go to the previous one. Okay, point values are hidden. So how many, like which question borrows how many points for that question, that will be hidden in the exam. It will not show you, but in the second module it will show you that. And in the second module also, it will be enabled that you can do backward, you can come forward. So it will be a open 5 hours. If you have missed something before, you can go back and fix it and come back where the question what you were doing before. Okay. So now in the exam topology, in your when you will be going for the lab, and even when we'll be practicing the real lab. Okay, even when we'll be practicing the labs in your in the EVNG or the GNS, we'll be using these iOS. Okay, the lab topology is a hybrid topology of virtual and physical devices. Okay, and this virtual and physical devices, even this will be available in the Cisco also. Okay, when you will be giving the exam, these virtual devices will be available there also. So they cannot have full devices of virtual of this vBond, vSmart, vManage, and vEdge. Okay, some of the devices which can be physical, they will obviously put that, but some of the devices which are not available as of now physical, they will put that as virtual devices. Okay, so now viOS, many of you who are familiar with the viral of Cisco, okay, you guys might be familiar with the viOS. It's better than the IOU, which was iOS on Unix, which we used to practice it on before on the Eve or on the VMware. But now it's more like the real iOS, virtual iOS, but the real iOS on your computers. Okay, now the DNAC and the Catalyst 9300 series, these two devices are basically, you need this so that you can manage everything in your enterprise. All right, so these two devices will be physical in your lab topology. Now they will be using Linux as an end host or server. Before they used was the Windows, but now they will be using the Linux as a VM. Okay, so these are some basic changes you will be seeing in the lab topology or in the exam format for the CCI Enterprise Infrastructure. Now the lab scoring looks something like this. Okay, in the module 1, you need a minimum passing score. Okay, and the minimum passing score could be 60%. Okay, minimum passing score could be 60%. Now in the module 1, the maximum can be 37. Okay, so now if you calculate 60% of 37, it will be around something like 20. Okay, so your minimum passing score should be 20 around. It could be 60%. Okay, and then the module 2, same thing. In the module 2 it could be 60%, maximum 63. Now what is this DOO? This DOO is deploy, operate and operation. Okay, that is what the short form of this: deploy, operate and optimize. Sorry. So this is DOO, which you'll be doing it in the module 2. Now the minimum score, again, it could be 60%. Okay, it is not disclosed as of now, but we are just assuming that it could be 60%. But the overall, okay, that this exam, the overall passing score, it has to be 80%. Okay, the overall passing score should be 80% if you need to pass your CCIE Enterprise Infrastructure. Now the module cuts scores based on difficulty level. Like for example, if you fail in your lab exam, okay, let's take an instance that if you fail in your lab exam, then Cisco shows you what wrong you did in which section. Okay, for example, in section 1, how many percentage you have got, in section 2 how many percentage you have got, in section 3, section 4. But once you have passed, it just says that you have met the minimum requirements and it gives you your CCI number. Okay, so that's how your lab scoring works in your lab topologies when you go for your lab exam. Okay, now these are the blueprint modules for the infrastructure. Okay, they have redesigned it as network infrastructure, SDI, transport technologies and solutions. But I'll be explaining each section. But before going further, I would like you to concentrate on the weight. Like if you will see the weight, 30% is still the network infrastructure. And believe me that this network infrastructure is heavily borrowed from the predecessor routing and switching. Okay, now this 25% is your software defined infrastructure. It can be SD-WAN, SD access. We'll see in the further slides. But the main advantage of the main lookout from taking here is that the network infrastructure is 30%. So most of it will still be from your routing and switching. The core, the basic would still be from the routing and switching. So now module 1, okay, it says that it's the network infrastructure. Now all the topics which you see here, Ethernet switching, IP routing concepts, EIGRP, OSPF, BGP, multicast, and many other topics like QoS, IPsec, all these topics are already being covered in your CCIE RNS. Okay, that's why we have written here that it heavily borrows from CCIE routing and switching blueprint modules. Okay, so you don't have to worry about anything. If you are good with this, you are 30% done with your CCIE network infrastructure. Okay, now let's come to your software defined infrastructure. Now here you will see that it shows SD access and SD-WAN. Okay, now it's a brand new blueprint domain. It was never there before. It has just been introduced in a CCIE Enterprise Infrastructure. Now see, let me tell you one thing. They don't want to be you a guru or something like that in SD-WAN or in SD access. Okay, if you just know how to create SD-WAN VPN, SDA VPN, and implement together using BGP and DNAC optimization such as inter VPN route leaking and SD-WAN, you have a wonderful starting position. Okay, and you will be able to pass very easily in this domain. Now DNAC is, honestly, DNAC is universe on its own. So we will be only focusing on DNAC features which are relevant to SDA. Okay, they are not going to test in DNAC as a complete solution because like I said, DNAC is universe on its own. So regarding, now see, if you see that there's no focus on ICE, no interaction needed with it, though access is provided, which means that you will be having the access, okay, which is a necessary component of your SD solution, but you won't even have to touch ICE. You will be able to do all the tasks without even touching the ICE. Now, of course, you will be having access to it because you will never have to do anything with it. But if you know ICE, you can play with it. You can see what config they have done, what exactly they are running on the ICE, and you can just see what exactly they are running. But they will never expect you to learn ICE for the CCIE Enterprise Infrastructure. Just remember that, okay? And all these technologies, SD Access, SD WAN, DNAC, ICE, they don't want you be to a guru in it, okay? They don't want you to be an expert in it. They just want you to know things which are related to the network. That's it, okay? Cisco have been very reasonable and sensible for the software defined infrastructure, that they have only given the parts which are related to your network domain, okay? Now in the module 3, it covers the WAN transport technologies like MPLS, MPLS L3 VPNs, DMVPN. Now see, in the DMVPN, I have written one more thing, that troubleshooting part only, no deployment from scratch, okay? Now if you will see the blueprint of routing and switching version 5.0, which was before enterprise infrastructure, you will see that you have to configure DMVPN from the base level up. But in the enterprise infrastructure, they have only said that you don't need to deploy like interface tunnel 0, IP and HRP, something like those commands, basic commands. Everything will be configured. You just need to troubleshoot whatever the part is not working on it, okay? Now like it says, it heavily borrows from the it heavily borrows from your CCI RNS blueprint, okay? MPLS L3 VPN is obviously new part, but the MPLS and the DMVPN was already there in your routing and switching. Now in the module 4, which is infrastructure, security and services, now as it says again that it's also heavily borrows from the CCI routing and switching. So now, as we are moving forward to the modules, you might be noticing that most of the part is being carry forwarded from routing and switching to your enterprise infrastructure. So there is nothing to worry about. If you are good with routing and switching, I would say you are almost 60% successful in your enterprise infrastructure. But let's read this slide also. It says that covering a fairly broad range of supplement tools and services, like we used to have netconf, we used to have SolarWinds to discover your packets and everything. If you want to capture, you have Wireshark. So you can still use all those packets while in module 4. They don't expect you to learn all this, but anyway, they can give you some tracing tools and some monitoring tools in the exam, just to see that how they work and everything. You should know that. So basically, device and network security, system management, QoS, network services, IPLSAs, tracking, traffic capture, and iOS EX troubleshooting tools. Okay, it's iOS XE. Sorry for that. So basically, all this is your infrastructure security and your services in the module 4. Now in the module 5, this all is infrastructure, automation and programmability. Now see, like I said, in the domain 3, they don't expect you to be a guru for SD-WAN and SD access or something like that. And that's the same thing for your module 5 as well. Okay, they will not look at how your script looks like. They will not grade you on whether your script look neat or tidy. They will not judge you on whether you used list or dictionary, because this is simply not your JSON exam. This simply is not your some programming exam. This is core networking exam. So they simply want you to automate your given task, and if you can do that, then you are pretty much done with this domain. Okay, now like it says, now it's a brand new blueprint domain, but again, Cisco is being very realistic here. These technologies are new for everyone, but they simply want you to just know about the network part, and you can just automatize things in your programming way. That's basically all they want. Okay, now see, if I'll compare with CCIE Enterprise Infrastructure with your CCIE routing and switching modules, so this is how it will kind of look like. Now if you will see here, okay, if you will see here, what it shows your simplified or removed. These are some technologies which are now removed from your enterprise infrastructure, HDLC. You can read all these technologies. Okay, but the good thing is about that they have removed such action verbs from blueprint, like describe, identify, explain, implement. Now you know what they do in the blueprint is that they just write explain, or they just write identify, describe, implement. That's how they used to do that. But now they just write EIGRP. Now EIGRP can cover up a lot of things. Okay, this, like, you know, I have also put a note here that this expands the coverage of blueprint items. So you never know what they'll ask in the exam. Obviously they have mentioned in the blueprint that what exact topics you need to cover about the EIGRP, but they haven't mentioned it like describe, implement, explain, identify, so that you should know the full EIGRP and how you need to exactly do that. Okay, now they have added some good topics like SD-WAN, SDA, PIM-v6 for the IPv6, and conditional debugger. So there are some good topics which they have also added. Now, software defined technologies and the programmability are by far the most significant updates to the blueprint. So SD-WAN, SDA, they are heavyweight topics. So for example, if you take programmability and SDA, they total, if you total them, they'll 40% of the exam weight is your software defined networking and the programmability. But like I said, they don't expect you to be a guru or something like that. Okay, you should just know the part of the technology related to the network and you will be good to go. So most of the technologies from CCI routing and switching are taken in the CCI Enterprise because they keep being relevant in today's networks and because they are the foundation underlay for SD access overlays. Okay, so like I said, this is still the 60% is heavily borrowed from the routing and switching. So if you know the routing and switching part, you are very much good to go for your enterprise infrastructure because you just need to do rest 40%. Okay, now I also want to show you one example for the, like I said, for the design module. Okay, I want to show you one example for that. Now see, this is the sample design question. People who have already passed CCDE might get confused with your design module. So let me explain you with the difference between the CCDE and the design module. Now CCDE exam is a high level design. It's like you create an HLD. Now what is HLD? CCDE expects you to create an HLD, and that is high level design document. Okay, but whereas the design module in enterprise, the technical level design, we can call it as LLD, and that's low level design document. Okay, so in the enterprise, the design module is based on the technical requirement, whereas the CCD exam is based on the high level requirement. Okay, so like I told you in the starting also, in this design module, it will be scenario based lab. You will be given topology, you will be given background info of the company, email set to help you and answer the scenarios. And now see, let me explain you this example. Now this is an email from Shriram, and it's to me CCI at Aspirant, whatever. If you are working as a network engineer, this email is for you. Okay, and the subject is multicast question. Now it says, hi, thank you for your recommendation. We have decided to go with sparse mode. Now see, it says, thank you for your recommendation. That means I, as a CCI engineer, have already recommended my project company that you should go with your sparse mode. That's why it says subject reply to the multicast question. So now they have said, thank you for your recommendation. We have decided to go with sparse mode. Now we want to make sure that operations won't get affected with this decision. We are concerned about the MOH servers deployed in data center for the VoIP application, which is running on dense mode. Okay, we would like to know that what approaches are available to make sure MOH services won't get affected. Okay, so now here it says that there's an already a dense mode going on in their multicast servers. Okay, and what is MOH? MOH is basically a music on hold server for the VoIP applications. Candidates who are here who have done collaboration or voice, they might be knowing it. What is MOH? When you call centers and you hear the voice of hold, you know, some music, some music of it. So that music of the hold is MOH, music on hold. So now they are deciding it to shift their MOH from the dense mode to their sparse mode, and they have agreed to my recommendation. And now, agreeing to that recommendation, now Cisco will give you a question for it. Now the question is that given the multicast mode selected by ABCXYZ, that's the company name, abcxyz.com, which option will make sure that MOH servers won't get affected? Choose one. So there are three options: dense mode, sparse mode, and there is third option, which is sparse dense mode. And the correct option will be sparse dense mode. We can select that so that we can run the sparse mode, and we can, in the future, we can change that to the slowly and densely. We can remove the dense and we can purely make it to the sparse mode. Now there will also be a branching question. Now what is a branching question? A similar to what your mail was, to what your topology was, there will be your branching question as well. Now you can get any one of these. Okay, you can get either this or this. So what is the advantage of the same option over the other multicast mode? And then you will be having the options. Or there will be an other question which says drag all the options from left to right that ABC XYZ should deploy to migrate the multicast mode. Okay, all right, all right. So that was your an example for your design module. Okay, I think Nilesh is back. I will go back to him. Just give me 30 seconds and I'll bring him back.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, Nilesh, so we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm extremely sorry for this technical glitch. Sanchit, I would request you to please continue sharing your desktop. I have logged from mobile,
All right,
and
no
we'll
problem,
continue with
no
the session.
problem. I'll
Yeah,
continue with the next slide and you can continue from there.
yeah,
Okay,
please.
all right, all right.
So yeah, so the pointers that we have missed because of disconnection, we'll try and cover if possible, if time permits. Let us go with the flow. So important point now here is how Octanetworks can help you prepare for your CCIE. We have understood what is the CCIE Enterprise Infrastructure and how CCIE program was revamped. Now, after having a look at the changes related to the CCIE Enterprise Infrastructure Blueprint, we can very clearly see that CCIE is a gateway to successful networking career, and it takes a lot of efforts, time, and energy to prepare for the exam and lab in order to clear the same. Now, what does a student or a CCIE aspirant needs to achieve his CCI dream? So what are his requirements? For him, the important things are availability of the passionate trainers who can guide him, followed by excellent infrastructure to learn and practice so that he can be ready. Now, if the training partner has a good track record and consistency of performance, half the battle is already won for him. It is critical to have a correct guide, coach, and mentor in this journey. He is expected to take you through the entire process of CCI certification. Let me say this with conviction. The answer to all the anxiety and confusion related to CCI preparation is Octanetworks. Let us understand a little more about who we are, and then we'll move ahead. Sanchit, next slide, please. Talking about coaches, mentors, and guides who play the most important part in training the CCI aspirants. We are the world's only Cisco training institute with 2 CCDs as mentors, and we are the only Cisco training institute with HEPTA CCIs as master trainers. Now, how does it matter to you as a student or a CCI aspirant? That means we have world-class resources with us who have gone through the whole 9 years of CCI certification 8 times each. Who can be in better position to guide us than these gentlemen? Though this webinar is focused on CCIE Enterprise Infrastructure, it is necessary to mention here that we are the only institute which offers boot camps for all the CCIE certification tracks available in the Cisco certification program, which are namely Enterprise Infrastructure, Wireless, Data Center, Service Provider, Security, and Collaboration. That reminds me to inform you that this is the first webinar in the CCIE certification revamp series that we have planned. We will be covering the remaining tracks in the upcoming webinars please follow our website and be in touch with us for further details. Now, we have been delivering quality training using innovative training methods for more than 8 years. We have built world's largest Cisco labs with CCI racks for all the CCI tracks in the process. With state-of-the-art infrastructure and biggest pool of CCI certified trainers, we have been able to train and coach more than 10,000 CCI students as of date. As we have discussed, passionate trainers and good infrastructure are important for a student to choose the right training partner. But let me say this. There is one more critical parameter which separates other training partners from the best ones. Consistency of performance is the most important part, which often gets overlooked and which is the biggest differentiator for a student. It is the only way to make sure that training partner is capable of producing results with his student every time. We are not in the business of false promises and once in a while flash in the pan success stories. Making sure that our students are consistently successful in their certification journeys is very important to us. Now, following are some of the pointers which validate our consistent performance over a long period of time, which is crucial for you as a CCI aspirant. Biggest validation of the quality of training and practice is that 85% of our students have got placed without even appearing for the CCI lab. It means that we were prepared enough to clear the interview rounds and get the jobs even before appearing and clearing the lab examinations. The next obvious step is 90% of our students have cleared their CCI exams in the first attempt itself. Evidence of our student-centric teaching methods comes from the fact that many students who had enrolled with us for their first CCIE have continued their association with us for their next CCI trainings and certifications over a long period of time. The overall effect of our consistency of efforts and dedication is that we have trained CCIs in almost all the CCI serial number ranges, that is 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, and 60,000. For those who are not aware of CCI numbers, every CCI upon passing the lab exam gets a unique serial number. And as of now, there are approximately 65,000 to 67,000 CCIs in the world. Our constantly updated training methods and proactive approach have earned us a unique distinction of having trained India's first CCI security version 5.0, collaboration version 2.0, wireless version 3.1, data center version 2.1, and service provider version 4.1. The point is very important because after every update or revision in the CCI certification exam, we were the first to train our students for the revised test successfully. It talks a lot about our consistency and dedication to keep ourselves updated and prepared for the revised syllabus or the revamp. This time too, we are very confident about our ability and competence to train you, that is the future CCIs, with the revamped Cisco certification examinations by training you properly and by making you practice hard. Now this slide, we have understood what is the CCI infrastructure and then we have seen who we are. Now what are we proposing to you as a CCI aspirants or the students who are looking for their CCI dreams? Our aim is to provide CCI as an excellent career option for freshers as well as for experienced professionals. So what are we suggesting or proposing here to you? We have two offerings for all the CCI aspirants. We have a CCI Enterprise Infrastructure Zero to Hero program for freshers and a CCI Enterprise Infrastructure Boot Camp for experienced professionals. Now, this is a very interesting idea. You, especially for the freshers among the other participants that are listening to this webinar, may have doubts about CCI and how it will help you get a job. We have a simple solution for you. We have a Zero to Hero program that will train you with CCNA, CCNP, and CCIE in the enterprise infrastructure track or any other track of your choice in 6 months. So this is Zero to Hero program is a 6 months program wherein we'll be training you for CCNA, CCNP, and CCIE. We'll make sure that you get signed offer letter at the start of the program itself, subject to completion of the program and passing the Cisco lab examinations. This program covers your personality development, communication skill, interview techniques, and other related guidance from the industry experts. This program is an excellent opportunity for freshers to get a confirmed entry in the networking industry with the shiny new CCI certification. Now, working professionals who are looking to speed up progress in their careers can also opt for this program. Or they may have aimed at only CCI certification. Now, we offer CCI Enterprise Infrastructure boot camps for such a experienced working professionals regularly. We can work together on your CCI journey and make you achieve your coveted CCI badge. Yeah. So some of the highlights of our training programs for your information: guarantee to run training, which means once the schedule is fixed, there can be no disturbances from our side due to whatever reasons, within reasonable limits, of course. It will help you manage your planning, leaves, holidays, and other timelines. This is one of the biggest pain points for students when the schedules get changed, revised too soon and too often. Now, Octanetworks, we are proud of our highly motivated, passionate, and experienced Cisco certified trainers who can help you with your CCI journey. We cover CCIE Enterprise Infrastructure, theoretical and practical concepts on Cisco devices, 120 hours of classroom training with interactive whiteboard and projector, convenient batch timings from early morning to late night to suit your convenience, 24/7 access to CCIE Enterprise Infrastructure lab equipment for student. Now, the biggest differentiator in my sense is pre-certification and post-certification support and guidance. We have discussed about CCI certified trainers and CCD and HEPTA CCI trainers and mentors. Our engagement does not necessarily have to end with the training and certification itself. We can help you before the CCI and after achieving your CCI with the doubts and clarifications. We are always there to help you. Students can attend classes till they get their doubts cleared. This is very important because until unless your doubts are cleared, there is no point in moving ahead. 24/7 access to trainers and mentors so that all the doubts and clarifications can be resolved then and there itself. Especially for outstation students, we have been blessed with a lot of outstation students. Especially for them, visa guidance, accommodation, local conveyance, that can be taken care of. You can get in touch with our team for any guidance related to visa, local travel, accommodation, and other food related or other personal requirements, which basically can distract you. We are here to help you focus on the training and study by helping you take care of other routine stuff related to travel and stay. With this, we have covered this next session. So this was a brief coverage of how Cisco CCIE is going to help us. Sanchit, if we can let us open to a question and answer
Yes.
session.
So
Yeah.
if you have any questions, you can always post your question on the chat, and I'll be answering those questions now. Okay, so there is one guy, MK, which says that what is ENCORE? Is it CCIE theory exam? Okay, so your ENCORE exam is your theory exam, but right now we were talking about the CCIE Enterprise Infrastructure. That is your totally lab exam. Okay, that is your 8-hour practical exam, which we wrote in the first slide. Ashish says that, is there any support provided after classes get completed? Yes, of course, there is a support provided from the trainer, from the management, all the support you need to study your CCIE or to pass your CCIE. We are always there for you. Many of you guys are asking the price of it for the program Zero to Hero, and I'll forward your names to the management team. Please, whoever is asking for the price, please leave your email ID. I'll forwarding your email ID to the management, and they will be reaching out to you very soon. Bala Subramanian says that now the labs are open to take exam. Not as of now. Cisco has not announced anything as of now, but we are hoping it for the soon too that Cisco opens their lab exam now.
Can I add something here?
Yeah, sure.
Unfortunately, the labs are not open, but maybe for the students or the aspirants who are preparing for CCI exam, this is a golden chance and additional time that they get to prepare themselves, so that once the labs are open, they can straight away go ahead and attempt.
Perfect. So yeah, many of you have sent the email IDs. We'll surely reach back to you for sure. Thank you, Akib. Thank you. Javed says that how will we conduct online training and study materials? We'll be conducting it through the Zoom. Okay, we'll be conducting it through the Zoom online sessions. We'll be conducting it one-to-one sessions if you need extra support, and we'll be also providing the study materials, whatever you need, your books, your workbooks, and your practical workbooks, everything you need for your lab exam or even for your theories. Okay, Arfat says that do we have to learn Linux also, as Cisco will take exam on Linux? Not at all. You just need to know the command prompt, the basic things which you need from the Windows, you just need to know that on the Linux part as well, you just need to be familiar with the Linux. Okay, it should not be that when you are going for the lab exam, everything is new for you. Okay, so you should be familiar with the Linux, not as much as a guru like Red Hat or something like that, but yes, you should be able to do basic things on Linux. Many of you are asking for the recording of this session. I will try and upload this to YouTube, or I'll upload this on the Octanetworks website, and you can see this webinar there. Javed says that in Zero to Hero, is there any online lab access? Yes, there is online lab access. You will be having full rack access. In how many hours you want to practice and everything, you can practice. Okay. And a lot of you
Can
guys
I
are asking again for the fees. So please leave your email ID. We'll surely get back to you. Yes, Nilesh.
Sanchit, can I add something? I think a lot of questions are coming about fees, which I'm sure team will take care. But there are 3 points I would like to repeat, which is 24/7 access to labs online, the availability of mentors to solve your problems, not problems, doubts and clarifications, and will not go ahead. I have covered this in webinar in the presentation. Will not go ahead until unless the students' doubts are getting cleared in the class. So I think these three are very powerful.
Yeah, correct. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining, and we wish you all the best for your CCIE journey with us. And thank you for your precious time for joining us. And you're welcome, Javed. You're welcome, Sia. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Right. Just let me say sorry again for the disconnection, and I hope we all of us will take care in the COVID-19 situation, and see
Yes.
you very soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.